Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to the Correct Views. Semi B to Gangi doing political commentary for The Media Speaks. Welcome aboard, friends. I'm going to get straight into the news because this is funny. I have like 520 subscribers. And you know what? They come first. And I talk to them at the beginning of every show. And everyone says, you need to quit talking to your subscribers so much. You know what? I'm not going to quit talking to my subscribers enough. If you don't like it, then you don't have to be a subscriber. Subscribers, welcome aboard. How's your day going? Maybe you haven't caught a show since Thanksgiving. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving. And I mean that to all of my subscribers. Yeah, I took them first again. Why? Because I got an email from this prick that told me, you need to quit talking to people as if people know who you are. I have 521 subscribers, and that might not be a lot of people to you, but I, for one, am going to talk to them first at every show, whether you like it or not. Now that I've managed to make my troll even more angry, here's my ass, you can kiss it. We will go into the news. CNN.com. I bet when Charles told me that I should incorporate my fans into the show, that's not what he meant. I love you, Charles Ward. Paris, CNN. Combating climate change will prove to be a rebuttal of terrorist efforts. President Barack Obama declared at the opening of a major climate summit in Paris. That's right. You used to think that ISIS attacked us because of our freedoms, but you're wrong. You used to think that ISIS attacked us because we're not Islamic, but you're wrong. ISIS is attacking us because of man-made global warming. Oh my God. Even Bernie Sanders wouldn't say this. This is what greater rejection of those who would tear down our world than marshaling our best efforts to save it. Obama said Monday at the COP21 conference, being held at a highly secured site outside the French capital 2 weeks after ISIS terrorists carried out a bloody rampage. The reason they call it wee-wee is because I am about to piss or otherwise wee-wee on the entire concept of global warming. Do you realize that even NASA has had to admit that we have not seen a substantial change in global warming? You can look this up. I'm not making it up. If I was making it up, I wouldn't have the 521 meager subscribers that I have now. Look it up. Look it up. Look up climategate.com. Look up how scientists were paid. Well, not paid, but they weren't going to get paid. That's what funding is. They weren't going to get their funding if they didn't subscribe to junk science. Look at climategate.com. Don't look at me. You're going to look at me and say this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. I don't like his hair. He was born with a lisp. He must be gay, whatever. I don't really care what you think of me. Look up ClimateGate. And you can see these scientists cheating. And you can see them lying to get funding. You can look at Al Gore, for crying out loud, saying that polar bears couldn't swim, when polar bears are some of the best swimmers ever. You can argue why he was saying that because we're melting the ice caps. That's not true. There's more ice in the Arctic than ever before. You're going to say, oh, but the climate is warming. That is not true for anywhere in the entire world except Australia and California. Why are they warming? Because historically, and by that I don't mean all of history. I guess I need to be a little more concise. In terms of the last 100,000 years is what I mean by historically. California and Australia have been a miserable place to live unless you are a cactus or a grain of sand. It has only been in the recent history that California and Australia have been livable at all. They've been warm for the last 100,000 years. No one else on the planet is warming. This is a matter of scientific fact. If you wish to debate me on this, then leave me a link that proves otherwise. It's not happening. It's not. Well, listen to this. We have come to Paris to show our resolve, Obama said, saying he offered condolences to the French people. What else is he going to say? He's happy they died? Obama, and I don't think he is, I'm just saying that's a dumb sentence. Of course that's what he said. Obama interspersed his climate message, I bet he did, with meetings on fighting ISIS during his stay in Paris, which began with a midnight tribute outside of Bataclan nightclub, where 90 people died during the November 13th attacks. This is not a result of global warming. This is a result of terrorists posing as refugees and entering a country and carrying out that which terrorists do. Whether you are on the right, which says nobody should get in at all, which I'm not saying because I'm Christian and I think a lot of the Christians need shelter. Do other Islamists? Yes, they do. But I'm just pointing out that I'm not on the far right. And then you've got the far left, which regular viewers know that I'm not, but they say let everybody in. It doesn't matter. They can have a bomb strapped to their back. Make sure they get a free meal and a hot soup. I'm not in that camp either. What I'm saying is this is tied to ISIS. This is tied to fanatical Islamism. This is not tied to global warming. President Obama has to be the worst president of my lifetime. I used to always say that was Jimmy Carter. That's no longer true. He said Monday that the United States and France stand united in solidarity, not only to deliver justice to the terrorist network responsible for those attacks, but to protect our people and uphold the enduring values that keep us strong, that keep us free. Well, I don't remember the last time that America was strong or free in terms of the international stage, since we've lost a ton of friends under Obama and equally under Bush. Before you think I'm siding with him, I'm not. The other glaring thing is if you want to hold them to justice and make them pay, then maybe you shouldn't send out leaflets before you bomb their envoy. Maybe you should bomb the oil wells and care. We don't want to bomb the oil wells because of the environment. Let me tell you something. I'm going to go on record for saying this. How many viewers do I have right now? 3. I've got 3 viewers. I want all 3 of you, and I'm going to get like a 200 by the time this is done sharing. So all 200 of you, as it were, do me a favor. Remember that I said this. Mark it on your calendar. It's a correct views prediction happening right here. When America started to win the war against Saddam the first time, Saddam set the oil wells on fire. Now, it doesn't matter whether or not you think we should have been in Iraq or not. A matter of historical fact is that once we started to win the war in Iraq, Saddam Hussein set the oil wells on fire. Supposedly, we did not attack ISIS under Obama because Obama did not want to hurt the environment. When ISIS starts to lose this war, they are going to set the oil wells on fire. It is 4:40 in the morning. I started this speech at 4:38. At 4:38 in the morning, 12/1/2015, I predict that when America or the NATO or whatever name you want to give it, when ISIS starts to lose, they are going to set the oil wells on fire. Now, how many people are going to die between now, when Obama didn't want to set the oil wells on fire? How many people are going to die between now and when ISIS sets them on fire? You remember I said it. Remember I predicted it. And remember, 521 of you, remember why you hit subscribe. I just did it again. Mark my words. You're going to see that I was right. Now listen what else this bonehead said. His message to more than 150 world leaders gathered at the Borgat Summit Climate, confronting climate change will prove a powerful antidote to nihilistic terrorists worldwide. Yeah, the average camel jockey with a bomb on his back is going to realize that America wants to save the planet. Therefore, my jihadism has no purpose. I'm dead. Look at Fact Cam. That is what Obama just said. And you want the stinger? You really want it? Do you really want the stinger of the article? CNN, by the way. What this means, it can't be overstated, Obama said. We have broken the old arguments of interaction. We have proved that strong economic growth and safer environment no longer have to conflict with one another. All right, Mr. Obama, we have not had a good economy since you have been in office. Nor did we have one under Bush, before you think I'm siding with him. Now, first of all, what do you know about a good economic environment since you haven't seen one since you've been in office? Second of all, remember Solyndra that got how many millions of dollars from the government and went out of business? What does he know about the environment meeting with a good economy? Because every time under him the economy has ever met with the environment, it's been an absolute loss to every tax dollar that we pay. Oh God. This is a PJ Dub, Paul Joseph Watson, Prison Planet. Swedish woman raped by refugee refuses to report it because she feels sorry for him. Now, I'm going to give you a strange analogy here, and maybe after I'm done with this, I'm going to lose some subscribers, but you know the way this show runs. You know if I think it, I'm going to say it whether you like it or not. Let's pretend this woman was attacked by a rabid dog that didn't know any better, and the rabid dog bit her, and she has decided that she doesn't want the dog to be killed because it didn't know any better. Let's pretend a healthy dog bites this woman. Her reaction would likely be the same. If a white rich person attacked and raped this woman, she would report it. I'm assuming, I could be wrong, never assume, I understand. I'm assuming that she would report it. Therefore, your average Islamist refugee is somewhere between the rabid dog and the white guy in terms of order of magnitude, right? In terms of order of how wrong they are. Now, what I'm saying is this is ridiculous. I am your average white guy. I'm here. I am. Blah 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 blah. It's me, and I'm not really white. I've got like Mexican in me. I've got Indian in me. But none of you care about any of that. All you care is about the Irish and the Welsh and the English. So okay, call me a white guy, even though I'm not. I don't want to be raped by a white person, male or female. I don't want Rosie O'Donnell. I don't want Richard Simmons. I don't want a wang in my hoo hoo hoo. I don't want it great big BBW woman on top of me, and no matter what color she is, no, please don't. I'll die. The only person that's fat that's allowed in the bedroom is me. I told you this was not going to be politically correct. Um, it's my preference. Do you like big girls? You hate tiny girls? Great. You know what I mean. Tiny bitch, get off me. Okay, I'm being facetious because I'm so tired of being serious all the time. So you can rape someone, but if you're a refugee, it's okay. Okay, all jokes aside, I'm not going to joke anymore because this isn't a funny matter. I joke because otherwise everybody tunes out, then I have no subscribers. This is bad. We are making allowances for illegal refugees. We have Italy canceling a Christmas play in December to replace it with a winter play in January. Now, I was born in January. Call it the Sam Day. Probably not. They got rid of Christmas as not to offend Muslims in Europe. This is ridiculous. Remember, how many of you are my age? I was born in 73. How many of you remember all the cartoons that used to come out about the banning of Christmas? And then when you got older, you were like, oh, like people would really ban Christmas. People ain't going to ban Christmas. It's actually happening all around us. Listen to this boneheadedness. I guess it means I get all of you listening, and I hope none of you have, but I guarantee some of you have. All of you that have ever been raped or molested, if he was of a disprivileged class, I guess you're supposed to feel sorry for him. If you don't feel sorry for him, then hit subscribe because neither do I. A Swedish woman who was raped by an Iraqi refugee on a train initially refused to report the incident to police because she felt sorry for the attacker. It says that the incident occurred on a night train between Umeå and Sundsvall back in October. The Iraqi refugee was traveling from Sweden, get this, because he was unhappy with the standard of asylum in Finland. Let me tell you what, I've used this analogy before. I live in Ohio, and God forbid, I fear that one day, and I'm very anti-nuke, I do everything I can in my power to eliminate the power of the nuke industry. So don't tell me, stand up and do something. I'm standing up and doing something by talking to you now. If David Bessie nuclear plant ever, you stand up and do something, hit share. If David Bessie nuclear power plant ever melts down, I'm going to need to get out of here. Now, let's pretend for a moment that I needed to go to another country. Let's pretend that I had to go to Mexico. Now, I'm in Ohio. A nuclear meltdown in Ohio would not necessarily mean that I had to go to Mexico. But let's pretend that I did. I can tell you what I'm not going to do. I am Christian, but I will not be attacking the Catholic religion while in the country. Now, I will be very vocal about not being Catholic. I will continue the correct views, and I will always tell people why I am not Catholic. However, I do not expect them to give me special status as a non-Catholic. The traditions that the Catholics have in that country, I would never do anything to stop. I would do my best to keep people out of the Catholic religion, but I would never try to stop the culture of the country that I'm already in. The other thing I would try to do is to at least work out some kind of workable Spanish within the first 6 months of being there. And I would try to be fluent enough to not get on your nerves within 1 year. Now, I have very little aptitude for foreign languages, so I can't promise that that would happen. I can simply promise that I would try. I would do my best to respect the culture of Mexico when I got there. That's not what we're seeing here. It's not what we're seeing here at all. It said the woman found herself sharing a compartment with three Arab men whom she immediately took pity on because they were poor refugees and bought them sandwiches. The men began to get drunk before attempting to touch the 28-year-old woman who told them to stop, as if they don't know what stop is. Because they're a refugee, they don't know what stop is. Well, they were Islamic. Well, that's racist. They didn't do it because they were Islamic. They did it because they were crude animals who need to be shot. The woman subsequently went to bed, only to be awoken by one of the men sexually molesting her. She fought off the rapist and ran to get help with the train attendant. According to the report by freeteeter.se, that's fact cam to prove I'm not lying, the victim initially refused to report the rape to police because she felt sorry for him due to his difficult situation. So that means that if I go to Mexico and because I am Christian and not Catholic, if I rape a Catholic girl, the Catholic girl should not tell on me because of the terrible meltdown that happened in Ohio. And because I am of a different religion. No. She should probably pull out a gun and shoot me in the throat. That's what should probably happen. This is ridiculous. The authority on the train had to be the one to tell her to report it. Now, let me tell you why this matters. What about feminism? What about feminism? All right, feminists, I'm on your side here. If she doesn't tell on him, assuming he's not gay or bi, how many women are going to get raped because she didn't say something? I'm sorry. Absolute stupidity. And if I'd have known where to mail the dunce cap, should have got one. Friends, you're listening to The Correct Views of three, I guess that'd be six. Three more stories to get to. Do me a favor, don't tune out, don't zone out, don't go out. I have to pay the bills, and I'm proud to do so. The Sticker Junkie. Why? Because they make amazing stickers. The stuff on that sticker is me, not him. Look how good these stickers look. My band uses Sticker Junkie exclusively unless we print them ourselves for a short run. We use Sticker Junkie exclusively. Why? Because they make amazing stickers. That's why. And if you go to stickerjunkie.com, maybe you say, Sam, Sticker Junkie's good. So is some other company. You're right. You're right. But you're going to get a savings on the stickers that are better at Sticker Junkie. And you're going to get a savings because you type in correct views or the correct views into the promo box. That's your promo code. And you're going to get amazing stickers. And why? Because you listen to the correct views. Why do you listen to the correct views? Because of stories like this. Independent.co.uk. Spontaneous human combustion. Woman bursts into flames on a park bench in Deutschland, Germany. Friends, I've always believed in human spontaneous combustion. Why? Because I'm a nutcase. Well, maybe. But no, I happen to think it's because there are a lot of different ways that a very large amount of water, which is what you and I are, there's a lot of different ways that water can be quickly evaporated and in some instances turn to an arena of dryness conducive to that of a fire. I think there are ways that that happens to the human body. And I think that most people, when they study it, will realize that it is not, I don't think it's the devil coming to claim lives or anything. If that's the case, then, I mean, what sinner wouldn't be guilty? I'm not saying I'm like that. What I'm saying is there is a there's a normal reason that this happens, but it's not a normal occurrence. How's that for an explanation? Am I saying I don't believe in supernatural occurrences? No, I do. But I'm saying that I don't believe that spontaneous combustion is a supernatural occurrence. I think it's something that quickly evaporates the water and the moisture in your body, something that is triggered by the electrical impulse system that is the human body. And I have no idea what that is. If I did, then I would solve it. But oh no, I'm just gonna let people burn up. But I would solve it if I could. But I don't think it's supernatural. But I think it's very interesting, which is why I'm going to go ahead and do commentary on it now. It says a woman was left fighting for her life after apparently bursting into flames on a park bench in Germany. According to the Fleischberger Tagesblatt and Das Local, fire and smoke emerged from the woman, who is believed to be in her 40s and originally from Muratitis, might be Muratius, and was sat on the bench in Fleischberg, North Germany. She has reportedly been, I told you I was horrible with languages. She was reportedly been left severely burned despite the best efforts of a passerby who it says tried to beating out, I think that's a typo, who tried to beat out the blaze with his jacket. Witnesses at the scene told local media the woman did not say anything as the flames engulfed her. Well, unless she self-emulated herself, which I'm assuming would have been noticed by the man that tried to save her. One of those rare WTF moments, if you will. Hats off. I mean, to the hero that tried to save her. Let me ask you something. If you're walking through the park and you're like, I got my little dog, and someone bursts into flames, are you going to have the bravery to run over and try to save this person? You possessed by the devil, or whatever you think. You're going to be very hard pressed to be heroic enough to go running over to them. But that's exactly what happened here. It says she was taken to hospital. Even notice the English say to hospital. America, to the hospital. No, to hospital. And has since been transferred to a specialist burns. Reports claim that the woman has died. However, this could not be confirmed. According to the local, prosecutors are currently keeping an open mind as to the cause of the incident. Prosecutor Ulrich Stadman Riebelt reportedly said they have not ruled out suicide. Obviously, I mean, if you have a prosecutor and the very first thing that he believes is human combustion, then he's probably an idiot. But I want him to research this. That's exactly what his job is. I want him to do exactly what he's doing. But don't be surprised if this ends up a case of spontaneous human combustion. And I'm saying this in part because it happened in such a public area. People that do this in a public area usually do that for attention. And don't tell me I'm wrong. My dad was a psych nurse. I'm absolutely right. They do this for attention. The fact that this person didn't want attention, she wasn't part of a political movement, a religious movement, a cult. Um, she wasn't doing this with a suicide note because of some lover left her. A lot of times when those dominoes line up and it looks like human combustion, my research, which I admit is limited, has often found that it is in fact human combustion, and it's one of those mysteries. It says one witness claimed to have seen two men fleeing the scene shortly before the incident. Well, obviously, if somebody set her on fire, I would hope that they catch them. That's why we have prosecutors. Believe it or not, the prosecutors are used for more than simply busting your average weekend teenage pothead. Hopefully, they're out there actually doing work, God willing, and the creek don't rise. Steve Watson wrote this one, Prison Planet. Video fourth grader threatened with sexual harassment charges for writing a love letter. That's right, in the fourth grade, you can now get a criminal record for sexual harassment. Meanwhile, you can be a member of ISIS and move into the country and get on welfare. Am I saying that the kid needs to not get a lesson? No. If you're in the fourth grade, you are old enough to understand that you are hurting the feelings or threatening. Notice I didn't say sexual harassment. In the fourth grade, I don't think you necessarily understand that. I think it's possible you do. But you do know for sure what fear is, and you know what making someone uncomfortable is. So I'm saying that this kid should get a punishment for continually harassing this girl, because by the fourth grade, this isn't the second grade. You know a little more. However, this is pure stupidity what I'm about to comment on here. And the story that perfectly encapsulates the insane degree to which our society has been neutered, and that would be ballless for you Russia fans, by political correctness. A 9-year-old child has been threatened with sexual harassment charges for writing a love letter to his classmate. Now, I've done research on this story, and I have found that this isn't the first time he did it. So I'm not saying that he should not have some kind of mediation that says, hey, you leave this girl alone. That's fine. I've got no problem with that. I have a problem with this. The love letter, one of many according to WPTV News, stated that the Florida boy is enamored with how his classmate wears the same school uniform and how her eyes sparkle like diamonds. In other words, she wears the same clothes everybody else has to, and she looks amazing to him. It also notes how the boy finds his crush pretty and features a heart with the words, I like you, within it. He was even smart enough not to use the word love. The horror! The Hillsborough County student wrote the note in class, alerting other children to its existence and prompting them to tease the boy who wants to, quote, see the girl naked. You have Nicki Minaj dancing on TV nude, and you wonder why the kid wants to see someone nude. Now, let's go in the time machine. Oh, Sam, you don't understand. Bullshit, I don't understand. How many of you know who Wendy Williams is? I would have been happy to have drank her bathwater after a workout and rated its taste on Angie's List. And I was 9. Okay, I get it. I understand. It's not something new. It's not me saying the youth, my ass. It hasn't changed at all. What I am going to say is this. My dad, in his infinite wisdom, told my mom, don't take that album from him. I bought the Plasmatics Coup d'etat CD. Parental warning, I'm going to call the graphic up online as I tell the story. My dad said, do not take the album from him because I can't type and talk. Because if you do, it's only going to make it worse. Let me talk to him, and I got the first of the adult speeches that you got from your dad. Why? Because this here is the album cover. And if you notice, if it loads, which of course Google never does, she has her nipples taped. And they are otherwise breast free and happy in the wind. Tits to the wind. Yeah, I said it. It's my show. I can say it if I want to. This has always been. This is 1982. Okay, I was 9. I was infatuated, and I guess the fact that I'm still talking about her, I am still infatuated with her. Wendy Williams was the bomb. How many of you remember Missing Persons? I'm not going to call that picture up, but I do have to. Tell me she wasn't gorgeous. Just look at this girl. I'm dead serious. Oh my God. Um, it's always been the same. But now when kids, like when I saw videos like that and I was sending out love letters and all this, my dad was like, this is theater. I'm not going to give you the whole sex talk I got. If you haven't gotten the sex talk, then go to another show. I think Dr. Ruth is still alive. But I learned right from wrong. I learned what was natural impulses. I learned how to act on those impulses. And guess what? I wasn't suspended. I wasn't humiliated by my dad. Maybe some of the problem is we don't have good parents today. Maybe that's the problem. I hate Nicki Minaj. I really hate her. But you know what? Maybe Nicki Minaj isn't to blame. Even though I hate her and she sucks and she has no talent. Maybe she isn't to blame. Maybe really bad parenting or bad schooling is to blame. Okay, maybe the fact that we have no family to teach kids anything is to blame. I'm not saying to hide Wendy or Williams' nipples, and I'm not saying to hide Nicki Minaj's ass. And 20 years from now, there'll be total nudity. I'm not saying hide that either, because you're not going to stop it. Okay, you can go back to David. You want to go to the Bible? I'm a Christian. We'll go to the Bible. David was a terrible sexual predator in some ways. Why? Partially because he didn't get the upbringing he should have gotten from Solomon. And that's mentioned all through the Bible. It's an ongoing issue. It's not going to stop. But suspending a male student and giving him a criminal record at the same time is not the way to go here. The Hillsborough County student wrote a note in class alerting the other children. That's when the principal proceeded to tell me it wasn't appropriate, that he was writing the note, and that if he writes another note, they're going to file sexual harassment suits. Sexual harassment suits on this kid for sending a note in class. Now, I'm not reading my phone on air. I put my, for those of you that subscribe, you get the number to comment online because I don't always see it online. No, it's regarding the last story. Yeah, about the kid. Definitely, for sure. It was an agreement text. For sure, friends. This is out of control. This is craziness that we are seeing. Madness. We are going down a road. I mean, I'm all in favor of being open-minded, but not so open-headed that your brain falls out. Okay, friends? I am dead absolute serious. You're listening to the correct views. The last thing I want to get to is this insanity from Turkey. Turkey has managed to create such a problem in the world, unbelievably so, by allowing ISIS to steal oil and sell it to them for $20 a barrel. Right now it's going in their money from 40 to 50. You buy that, you're bringing everything down. Now keep in mind, I've always admitted I'm a recreational pothead. I've never denied that. Someone said, what if you run for public office someday? Well, I will admit that I am going to go ahead and run for office. And I will not smoke weed if it's illegal in the state that I'm in for the entire time that I am in office. But I'm not going to deny that I've ever used it. The reason I bring up that analogy is I may have inadvertently funded some very nasty Mexican gangs. And I'm not prejudiced. I'm part Mexican. So get the hell off that prejudiced crap already. But I may have funded really nasty Mexican gangs because a lot of the weed that comes into Ohio comes from Mexico. I understand. I get it. That's not what I'm talking about. Because everyone funds something they don't like. Maybe you're a fundamentalist Christian and you're against abortion, and you buy a snack food, it's your favorite snack food, that snack food company happens to fund abortion clinics. You've just supported it. I smoke a joint, blah, blah, blah. It came from a Mexican drug lord. I gave them money. It happens every day. I've done it. You've done it. If you don't think you've done it, you don't know you've done it, but you have. That's not what I'm talking about. They called for a moment of silence in Turkey. The Turkish fans booed the moment of silence that was given to Pence. And they said, oh, no, that's not true. What? Islam doesn't know what a moment of silence means? I highly doubt it. They were booing and siding with ISIS. And the fail of the day, the dumbie of the day, are the many European writers, and you can look this up. Look up Turkish fans boo. Turkish fans weren't booing. They were saying they only booed the racism. They were booing the idea of racism. Because nobody had a moment of silence for the people that were killed in civilian casualties in the war. But we did have sympathy for ISIS. That is ridiculous. And I'll tell you why. I am a Christian. I've said it a couple times this show. Jews were killed in concentration camps. Most people do not know that more Christians were killed under Stalin than Jews under Hitler. That would be like me saying when someone calls out Hitler, I am offended as a Christian because you don't remember how many of us Stalin killed. So I wasn't booing your moment of silence. I was rather just booing the fact that you forgot how many Christians were killed. That's stupidity. That's why it gets the dumbie of the day. Oh yes, friends, there's a dumbie music for every single reporter that tried to claim that Turkey wasn't booing the moment of silence. They are largely on the side of the enemy. Do you realize Saudi Arabia hasn't taken in any refugees? Even though they're aligned almost exactly with ISIS? We'll get to that next show. I'll prove it. Do you realize they've taken in no refugees in Qatar? The United Arab Emirates? Kuwait? We liberated Kuwait. Kuwait has taken in 0 refugees. Do you know that? That's what ties into the dumbie of the day. Friends, you're listening to The Correct Views. If you want to donate to the show, you can do so at thecorrectviews@hotmail.com. Every penny that you give to me goes towards a better show. And I have lights, 3-point lighting. I have computers, cameras, all the crap that hooks it up. All of it costs money. All the research time costs money. Arranging the show costs time and all of that. You pay for it. You have the correct views at hotmail.com. Thank you, friends. Good night. God bless.